really great to see so many of the students here. We've had this end of year party. I think this is the 4th year or the 5th year, and every year we've had more students, particularly more and more undergraduate students. So it's really great to see all you guys out here. This is generally a really happy time of year. We're coming towards the end of the semester, end of a hard year. Everybody's worked very hard, tired out, but you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. But this year our joy is dampened a little bit because of the loss of our good friend and colleague Dave Norman, who, as you all know, passed away unexpectedly and unfortunately Monday in Ghana. And the department really feels like a family, and I hope you all feel some of that. Certainly the faculty, those of us who've been here many years, our colleagues, our friends, the students we work with, they're part of our family, and when we lose someone like Dave, who was such a big part of that, it hurts us all very deeply. I'm very happy that Mary, Dave's wife, and his daughters Kirsten and Anna could join us tonight. They're part of our family. Mary, I know, has come to this reception every year, so thanks a lot for coming. Probably among the faculty, the person who's worked most closely with Andy, with Dave, and probably known him the best is Andy Campbell. So Andy would like to say a few words about Dave and what Dave meant with all of this.
I'll wait for that to go by. Well, first of all, we have a nice poster for Dave over here with pictures from various trips and activities over the years. There's plenty of place around it to sign it, so please go put a few words on it.
That's a fire truck.
That's a fire truck. In competition with the fire truck. We've tried to let people know around the U.S., around the world that Dave passed, and I've been getting a lot of emails back from a lot of people who knew Dave. And I thought I wanted to share a few of those, and I'm going to read a few things that some people have sent when they heard about the news. And I think that maybe I'll start with a few of my own reminiscences of times with Dave. And I think probably we'd want to entitle this the Adventures and Misadventures of Field Trips with Dave. It's been around very long. You know, students come back to these field trips and they always have lots of stories about the good times they had, the good food they had, and some of the things that didn't always go quite right. But they always had a great time at it. A few of my memories are, I think probably my favorite one is that the first day on a field trip in Portugal, Dave opened up his suitcase. We were sharing a room. He opened up his suitcase and he pulled out his boots. He put one on and he tried to put the other one on. Yeah, it was Anna. He let Anna pack his suitcase. She put in 2 left boots. It didn't work very well. We talked about the options. Do we slice a hole in the sole and one so it we went to the mine. They had rubber boots, but they were all too small. Dave ended up wearing his street shoes in the mine for the whole trip. That was a good thing. Another one that I wasn't on, but this one always intrigued me. He went on a trip to Canada one time. They had 2 vehicles, camped out someplace. Woke up in the morning and one of the vehicles wouldn't start. The other one worked fine, so they had one good battery and one bad battery, but no jumper cables. So they used the tent poles from somebody that got the car going. Yeah, there's misadventures, but you get through it, you get on, and you get to the mine. But probably one of my greatest memories is from all the different trips I've been on, have been some of the great food we've had in the various places we've gone. This trip to Spain and Portugal, we not only spent a very nice evening in a port wine cellar where we sampled more kinds of port than I knew existed. And then on the rest of the trip we found that sauteed artichoke hearts with bacon was a great dish, and we ordered that pretty much every night if it was on the menu, along with a local wine which cost about $1 a bottle at the time. And then there was the trip to Ireland, where Dave made sure that every day we found a good pub for lunch. And those pub lunches those are pretty good. But probably the best one of all is the trip I went on when Dave and family had spent a year in Norway. And at the end of that, I organized the students on this end, and we went over to Norway. And he got me a room in the museum on the university, and it was nice and cheap. I didn't have to pay for it, but I had to be in it before they locked up the museum at night, and couldn't get out until the next morning when they locked the museum. But it worked out pretty well. But partway through the trip in northern Norway, he made sure that we had a traditional Lapland meal, which was reindeer steaks with multeberries for dessert. That was one of the best meals I've ever had. It was really good. Well, I'm not the only one that has memories of field trips with Dave. I just wanted to read a few things that some ex-students have sent in. This one is from Tim Callahan, who was a master's student of Dave about 10 years ago. He writes, I remember many trips around New Mexico and elsewhere, hunting for moly samples in northern New Mexico, high grading in the Mississippi Valley deposits of Missouri, porphyry copper deposits in Morenci and Silver City, Winnemucca, Nevada gold mines, and many others where us rockhounds had a great time. And I even learned a thing or two about economic geology. My favorite memories are of New Zealand, 1995, where Dave took a group to the North Island, including stops at geothermal parks, the crater at Tarawera, and the hike along Mount Raiapahu. Thank you, Dave. And another student, Randy Ruff, a student from the late 80s, early 90s, the time when Dave had lots of students. There was a really cohesive group of students here at that time. Randy writes from Romania, actually where he's working for a gold exploration company in Romania. While I am admittedly terrible on keeping in touch, I feel compelled to write upon hearing of Dave's passing. My graduate experience at Tech, working with Dave, and especially participating in some of his wild and woolly road trips, was something not easily forgotten, and in fact, are cherished memories. Even all those late nights crushing quartz to release the gas from those tiny bubbles, and trying to reduce the data to something meaningful, are not easily forgotten, and upon reflection, actually a vital part of my Tech experience. And Dave was always there, late at night. His dedication, creative approaches, and zest for life and travel are lasting memories. Influential too, perhaps, as I too have spent some time working and living in Ghana. Please pass along my condolences as one of Dave's students from 1993 to the department and his beloved. Best regards, Randy. Not only students have been writing in, but a lot of colleagues that Dave has worked with around over the years. I mentioned to Mary that Pat Brown had written, and Stuart Simmons. I don't know if you remember him from over there as well. He wrote, and he said he was very sorry to hear that Dave had passed away. And he had one line there I wanted to say. He said, Dave always gave more than he expected. And Dennis Norton, who's a famous person in the origin of hydrothermal ore deposits, somebody David met many years ago. He said, a tragic loss for thought. I always remember Dave stopping by my place in Park City when he was but a young man. His keen mind and desire to understand persevered for decades since that memorable meeting. Dave touched a lot of people, both his students, his friends here, faculty, and people around the world that he worked with. And they've been very forthcoming about writing and saying that. So thank you for letting me say a few words.